While making the hair, I took a break, and when I got back I forgot to turn on the recording, so a part of the hair combing process is missing from this video, but I hope that it won't cause too much problem because it's the same technique as the other part of the video. So yeah, let's begin. Before I make the hair, I need to design a style, so I make a test render and bring that into Krita to sketch some hairstyles. Krita is a free open source painting software, although it's nowhere near the level of Photoshop, but it can get a lot of work done and the brush engine is way better than Photoshop. So yeah, I use Krita a lot. For this project, I want to make the hair simple because the version of Blender that I was using at this point has a bug with the comp brush. They fixed the bug recently, so you don't have to worry about that, but here I need to deal with the bug somehow. I will talk about the bug later. For now, let's focus on the sketches. When finding idea, it's important to never trust your first idea. It always feels like it's a good idea, but more often than not, you can find better ideas with a bit of experiment. It is always a good idea to make a couple of different sketches and then pick out the most appropriate one for whatever purpose you are working for. So here I'm sketching a bunch of different styles, and at this point I realized that I should have made the background transparent, but I was too lazy to make another render. Now I do like the last sketch very much, but this is a strictly 2D style, and I can't guarantee that it will look good from another view angle. So I picked the long hair style because it is the easiest one, and with the current bug of the comb brush, the other styles are gonna cause me a lot of trouble. So back to Blender, I first create a scalp. The scalp is not going to be visible in the final render, so the topology does not even matter. I mean, it does matter a little bit, because I will need to paint some vertex groups to separate the different parts of the hair later. Once the sculpt is done, I apply the mirror modifier and then create the vertex groups. The hair is separated into 3 parts: front left, front right and back. So I create 3 vertex groups, one for each part of the hair. With the vertex groups in place, time to populate the guide hairs. The front left and right hairs are gonna use the same particle settings. The hair distribution of Blender is terrible. Some areas are too dense while other areas are too sparse. Even if you turn on that evenly distributed option, it still sucks. So I initially create a lot more guides than I actually need. Then I go to particle edit mode and use the remove double command to remove the hairs, and then tweak the distance until I have a desirable density. Even then the density is still not uniform, so I manually add some hairs to the areas that are too sparse. Now usually I would go for a higher density than this, but here I lowered the density of the guides in order to mitigate the bug of the comb brush. The bug makes the brush very unstable as I comb a lot of hairs at once. The vertices of the guide's hair don't always follow the brush properly, and the more hair I comb, the more unstable it becomes. And to further mitigate the effect of the bug, I increase the strength of the brush because I find the stronger strength make the bug less severe. However, a strong comb brush is very hard to use because the fall off of the brush is kinda weird. The center region of the brush have almost 100% effect regardless of the strength, while the edge has almost 0. So usually I set the strength to be 0.38, which gives me a very nice fall off, but right now I'm using the strength around 0.55, which is unfamiliar to me. Anyway, the bug is mitigated to a usable state. It is harder than usual, but still possible. And in the end, it took me about 2.5 hours to comb the entire hair. I reported the bug after this project, and they fixed it not long after, so you don't have to worry about it now. While combing the hair, it's very hard to see which guide is in front and which is behind, because there is no depth perception. All the vertices of the hairs are rendered the same way, the same size and the same color. So in order to see things, I rotate the camera a lot, and as the camera moves from one angle to another, I can see very clearly the true position of the hair guides, and comb according to what I see during the camera movement. It's like walking in the dark and only see flashes of light every now and then. this is the part where I begin to create the hair in the back. But I took a break and forgot to record it when I got back, so unfortunately this part is missing, but it's all about the same technique as the previous part, so not much is missing. During the missing part, I also recreated the hair material, because the principal hair shader does not give me the control that I used to enjoy. So you can pause the video here to see the material so far. This is loosely based on a research paper by NVIDIA about how the hair interact with light. So yeah, it gives me a lot more control than the principal hair shader. The rest of the video is about fine-tuning the hair, so there is not much to talk about. Okay, the hair is now done and the project is close to complete. In the next video we will make some final touches and finish the project. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.